Music legend Tina Turner has passed. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Tina Turner, the unstoppable singer and stage performer who teamed with husband Ike Turner for a dynamic run of hit records and live shows in the 1960s and 1970s, and survived her horrifying marriage to triumphant middle age with the chart-topping What's Love Got to Do With It, has died at 83. Miss Turner died on Tuesday after a long illness in her home in Zurich in Switzerland, according to her manager. She became a Swiss citizen a decade ago. She was born Anna Mae Bullock and sold more than 150 million records worldwide. She also won 12 Grammys. Miss Turner, she was simply the best, better than all the rest. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis has declared his intention to run as president last night, and of course his leader, Trump, came out attacking him, saying that he has no personality and that unfortunately personality is not available in a store. He also posted, "Rob, my red button is bigger, better, stronger, and is working. Yours does not." No one really knows what Trump means, as he probably does not know himself. Okay, people, bring in the clowns. According to trade unionists in Jamaica, Helene Davis White, the procedure of granting the current increment to the political directorate is an abuse of power. She claims that the conversion method used to compute salaries for public sector workers under the compensation review differs from that utilized for parliamentarians. Mrs. David White said that with the exception of politicians, no other public sector employee was permitted to earn more than a set figure on the compensation scale. She said the unions are taking issue with how parliamentarians converted to the new scale, given that all other public sector workers were converted at or below point 4 on the more than 10-point scale. Opposition leader Mark Golding, meanwhile, has again called for the government to roll back the massive wage increase to members of the political directorate amid growing public discontent. Speaking at a PNP press conference briefing yesterday, Mr. Golding again questioned how the government arrived at the increased figure. PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell insisted that the salaries of all members of parliament, including those of the opposition, should be rolled back. Andrea Gordon, the former senior manager at the National Commercial Bank, who was convicted of swindling $34 million from the financial institution and was sentenced to 7.5 years in 2021, has now been ordered to repay close to $120 million. The order was made against Ms. Gordon in the Supreme Court under the Proceeds of Crime Act. Based on an assessment done by the investigators on what was presented in court, criminal benefits amounted to under $200 million. But Gordon, through her attorney, admitted to raking in $119.1 million through her illegal activities. Gordon's house will now be placed on the market for sale, and proceeds for the sale will go to the NCB. She has also been ordered to pay the legal costs for the bank and the Crown. An accountant has been arrested and charged in connection with the robbery of a motorcycle earlier this month. 30-year-old Kevin Reed of New Garden District, St. Andrew, is charged with robbery with aggravation. The Halfway Tree police said at about 5 a.m., Reed was driving a motorcycle along Morton Park Terrace with a pillion rider. The pillion rider, who was armed with a gun, then robbed a man of his motorcycle. Reed was taken into custody on Tuesday following the recovery of the motorcycle. A woman in an advanced state of pregnancy and a man were shot dead at Campbell Avenue in Port Antonio, Portland on Tuesday night. They are 28-year-old Shade Pink of Campbell Avenue and 23-year-old Keena James of Johntown District. It's reported that the victims were among a group of people playing dominoes about 11 o'clock when a car drove up. A man alighted and shot Miss Pink and Mr. James. They were pronounced dead at hospital. News on the ground is that someone wanted Miss Pink dead, apparently because of her pregnancy. Two garbage men, employees of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, were shot yesterday morning in Portsmouth in Portmore in St. Catherine. The wounded men were transported to hospital by the police, where one later died. And it's understood that a little after 10 o'clock, the men were on a truck collecting garbage in a section of Portsmouth when they were attacked and shot. Meanwhile, a lone gunman shot and killed a man sitting under a mango tree in Greater Portmore in St. Catherine on Labor Day. The deceased has been identified as 30-year-old Kevin Burke, otherwise called Ratty. Police reports are that sometime before 4 p.m. on Tuesday, Burke was sitting under a mango tree when he was approached by a man armed with a handgun who shot him. The police were called and Burke was seen lying face down in a pool of blood. 3 cartridge casings and a blood sample were recovered by forensic investigators who processed the crime scene. The Greater Portmore police are now investigating. On to sports, Shericka Jackson, the 200 meters world champion, has been added to the stellar lineup of athletes participating in the Wonder Diamond League meet in London on Sunday, July 23rd. Jackson will join the previously announced Dina Asher-Smith in the women's 100 meters, which will be one of the highlights of the meet. Last month, the Jamaican sprinter clocked an impressive time of 10.82 in Kingston and followed it up with a second-place finish at the Diamond League opener in Doha. In the previous year, the 28-year-old secured a world silver medal in the 100 meters event in Eugene before setting a new personal best of 10.71 at the Diamond League meet in Monaco, propelling her to 6th place on the all-time world ranking for that event. She also holds the second position on the all-time list for the 200 meters, having recorded a time of 21.45 to claim the world title in that category last year. On to NBA, the Miami Heat will be in Boston tonight in a Game 5 fight to try and finish off a wounded Boston team that are down 3-1 and a team that even now still swears that their team is better than the Miami Heat. Game time is 8:30 tonight, and it will be interesting to see which team jump out first and dominate. However, it is really the fourth quarter that determines the game, but if Miami built a significant lead in the third, it's gonna be bye Pistons. Anyway, Piston is claiming that they are willing to take game 2. It's gonna be a dog fight tonight. And if you ever missed the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I gone.